Hey there. I'm Brianna. I'm the founder of Zakiya, and I'm also on their board of directors. I also have with me today Keith, who is a developer at Zakiya, and he is going to teach you and me both a little bit about what Unity is. And I have to admit, I don't know what it is besides just the very, very basics. So this is going to be a fun interview. Keith is also the brainchild behind Prefix Wiz, which is his YouTube channel where he gives Unity tips and tricks. So he certainly knows what he's talking about. So I'm excited about that. While we are live, feel free to ask questions and we will do our best to answer them. And if you're watching the replay, you can still post comments below and we'll answer them, during our next live broadcast, or I'll get the answers from Keith later. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook or subscribe to Zakiya's YouTube channel for future videos so that you can see our next topics. So with that said, I am really super excited to bring in Keith. So hello, Keith.
Oh, hello there. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. I'm glad to do this today with you.
I appreciate it. Me too.
Yeah. So I know I did an introduction. I'm sure you were sitting there going, oh man, now she's put me forth as the expert. Now I got to look like the expert. But promise you, you know lots more than me and you know lots more than everyone else out there. So that's
Well,
it's going to be fun. So just the real basic question to start with, what is Unity?
What is Unity? Unity is basically a software program that allows a single or multiple, small team of developers to develop large scale programs such as games or simulations, even CG movies. You can even do CG movies on it. There's a lot of stuff that you can do with Unity, but it's basically all the tools at your fingertips.
Okay. So, all right. And I know I everything that I've kind of did like quick little research on it, and it's always listed as kind of like a gaming. It's always associated with gaming. Is there any reason why it's only used for gaming, or is it only used with gaming, or can it be used on pretty much any software project?
That is a great question. It started out as a gaming thing because I think the mold of game development when Unity actually was implemented into the system back in 2005, gaming was on its hill to becoming really big, right? The big boom, the gaming boom. So being able to create a game by yourself, obviously, without some backing of major companies, it started out that way. So then they quickly figured out that we could use the platform, or they could use the platform in order to create simulations or even models. And I hate to bring up the COVID situation because it's so fresh, but even COVID models are being done on Unity right now. It's just a rapid way to produce visual aids without having to go through a bunch of programmers to get it done.
All right, I'm going to ask you a question that maybe sounds stupid, and hopefully it doesn't. But so is it a programming language, or is it something that's used alongside a programming language? Is it something that kind of enhances a programming language?
Good question. Well, the programming language itself is C#, but it enhances the programming language. So Unity itself, the software program, is imagine Adobe Suite, right? So you have Premiere that edits videos and so on and so forth. So instead of having all of these separate programs, it's all compiled into one. And then they use a programming language like C# in order to access its different features.
Okay, so do you need to know how to use C#, or do you need to know C# as a programming language in order to use Unity, or is it Unity allows you to program in C# without actually knowing it? Like, is it kind of like a conduit or a language translator?
Yeah, it's more of like a language translator. You don't need to know C# because they have visual scripting involved now, where the scripting itself could be visual. So you just node based, you're actually placing things in front of one another in order to make something happen. But definitely knowing the programming language of C# is a big plus.
Okay, great. Now, one of the things that we had kind of, and when we advertised this, was that Unity can help shorten the programming time and shorten the cost on a software project. Can you talk a little bit about that and how that happens or why it happens?
Sure. Actually, I have a screen that I'm sharing, and it might give a better depiction of it as I'm talking about it. But they have, and traditionally in a game development environment, you would have like a game director and a game designer, and those people are managing the project. Then you would have a bunch of programmers audio design, and like an art department. And all of those together, you would have to actually, create all of this stuff that goes into a game, and then have a version control of that somewhere, and then you'd have to have a group of people testing that version, and then you have to actually have a group of people testing the finished product of that version, and then you would have to go through this process uh, for however many platforms you're creating the game for. You'd have to do it for Windows or Mac, or if you're doing it for iPhone or Android, you would have to do this several times with all of these people. So the way it works now with Unity, and just going over to another slide here, with Unity, you would be able to do it by yourself and in QA and debug in real time. And then Unity itself is a program that allows you to send all that information to different platforms almost right away.
So, I mean, give me an example. So if I'm a business owner and I'm watching this today and I have a project that I think is going to take me typically, if we're doing the cost analysis on it, that I think it's going to take me 6 months to complete, how much could Unity shorten that project?
I always say if you're going to take any project into consideration, you're going to cut it in half.
Wow.
Cut it in half. Yeah, exactly. It's a pretty powerful tool. So you're going to cut the development time in half, and you're also going to cut your manpower probably in half.
Really, so the time and the manpower both?
Absolutely. It really just depends on the project. But as far as your development process, if you have an expert in, again, going back to like just using a different software program like Adobe Suite, the entire thing, or Microsoft Suite, the entire thing, Microsoft Office, instead of having somebody that's an expert in Access and an expert in PowerPoint, you would have somebody that's an expert in all of it.
Okay, got it. All right, so that's a pretty amazingly robust tool, and I think as a business owner, I look at that and go, "Ooh, all right, I need some more people like you." so with that said, how is it that you got into Unity? I mean, how did you learn it? Was it because you were doing gaming, or what was it that actually brought you to understand it, and how did you learn it?
It's been a journey.
Okay. Give me the short version.
Yeah. The short version, I was in the military. I got out and, I gamed a lot, so, I think the game that I played was Call of Duty. So I was a professional sniper on Call of Duty. But no, my wife told me one day that, you like making games or you like playing games. Why don't you try to make one, do something with that? And then I was like, okay, well, I just took her advice and I tried to make a game once. And there was different tools out there like Unity, but not as robust or refined as Unity. So I tried Unity back in probably the late 2008, 2009. And it was an instant click for me. The problem was I was not very good at programming, to be honest with you. So it was a journey for me to learn how to program and use the visual coding side. Now, visual coding side, it works for people who do not know how to program. But there's limitations to it because it really just needs that extra kick in order to make things work. And that's where the programming language comes into play.
Okay. All right. So
I answered your question there.
No, it does answer my question. Actually, I had another question and now I'm trying to remember it. This is the problem. I'm sitting here listening to you and then I completely forget all my great questions I have to ask you. So if there's somebody else who's thinking, let's say that, somebody who's getting ready to go to college or is in high school or, kind of thinking about their career path, do you have any recommendations to them about if they want to go this path of learning Unity, which sounds like a great thing to do because shoot, if it's decreasing the amount of time it takes on a software project, you've got to be in high demand. So it sounds like a great career path. So how does somebody get into that?
Actually, it's a free program for people who want to just get into it. So I would say just head on over to unity3d.com and just download the program first.
Okay.
And it doesn't hurt to try it, right? And the next thing is, no matter what project you start, just make sure you finish it. That's probably the hardest thing to do, honestly, as a developer, is to just finish a project on your own in your own time, is to just finish the project. And that's probably the most important one. So that's what I would say to people that were trying to get into it, is just finish the project. Get into it, just do it. You're not going to mess anything up.
Keith, that is like that's the great advice, not just for programming, it's probably for life. I mean, probably any project that you start, whether you're kind of, do a project at your house or whether you're trying to program. So so thank you for the career advice, but also thank you for that life advice. I think
Oh,
that's
no
some really
problem.
great advice you just gave without meaning to. So well, I think we're pretty much out of time. It goes so darn quick, every one of these. And I know, isn't that crazy? So I want to thank you for sharing what Unity is. Maybe we can get back another day to talk a little bit more in detail about what it is, now that I'm sure I've gotten some people excited about wanting to have some Unity programming. Of course, if you are a business owner and you're looking for to bring in some developers like Keith, give Zakiah a call and we'd be glad to help you without having to hire your own developers. You can work with people as great as Keith. So with that said, I really want to thank you for having us and, for coming and joining us. And if you have joined us today and you're interested in some of the other videos that we're going to be doing, we're going to have all kinds of neat little interviews on different technical topics and also some HR topics. Definitely follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. So thanks very much. And we will see you soon. Thanks.
Appreciate it.